Hello and welcome to yet another edition of the Hockey Republic. My good name is George Njuguna. The usual gang or brother of mine is here. Simon, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
Doing well. Ready for the weekend and ready for this amazing.
Good. I can see it's still cold. Eh?
Yeah, it is. It is very cold.
Good. Now, Today we are joined by someone who is very familiar and might not be familiar for some people because she's not played, I think, for like 3 or 4 years here in Kenya. She decided to move away and settle elsewhere. Betsy Ommala, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. Good to see you.
You know, on Wednesday, I told people when we were doing our Wednesday show that Friday will be a surprise. And
oh, you did?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
I took my chances before I got in touch with you. Let me admit that on air.
Well, I hope it's a surprise.
I'm sure it is a surprise for many people because many people have not seen you in such a long time. So for those who may not know you, who is Betsy?
Who is Betsy? Betsy is a hockey player, a Kenyan hockey player who, like you said, I haven't played hockey now in Kenya. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a hockey player, like I said. So, I'll keep it short. That's Betsy, for those who don't know.
Good. Tell us a bit of your history in terms of the game. When did you start playing hockey? Who inspired you to start playing it? Yeah.
I started playing hockey, and by that time we were the defending champions. Because I remember when we had the trophy, we were going down. We were the defending champions. But we went there and it didn't work so well. We came bottom, second last, basically 5th out of 16. And now we performed so well, almost last. So I was thinking, am I had to go back to the drawing board, win the club championship, and
Sorry for that interruption. Thank you so much for keeping in touch with us. Few technical hitches. These things happen sometimes. With us is Betsy Ommala, former national team captain and Blazers hockey captain. She now plays for Slough Hockey, which she'll be telling us in just a bit. Remember, if you have any question for her, just go to the comment section and comment, and then we will definitely ask her the questions that you have. So, Betsy, we were at your history, and you were in 2009, you transiting now to going for your first international trip for the club.
Yeah. No, the first international trip was in 2009, if I'm not wrong. No, it was in 2010. We went to Accra for the club championship. And I remember that time we were the defending champions. When there we played, but it didn't work out well. We came 5th out of 6th. So that time I was just asking myself, was I the reason? Because I mean, we've gone out, we were the defending champions, and then we are coming back almost last. Anyway, we came back to the country. We had to go back to the drawing board, and we started afresh. We were like, this is what we have to do. If we want to win the club championship, we have to do ABCD. So we came back. They even changed the captain to me. So I was the captain in 20. After coming back from Ghana, I was appointed the captain of the team. So the next club championship was in Zimbabwe. So we went there, and lo and behold, we won the tournament. We won it. So for me, it was very it was a highlight for me because I was the captain of the team and we won the tournament. And remember the year before we had come like second last. So I was like, oh, okay. It looks like whatever we've been doing was working. Yeah. So, and at that time, after that, again, I was appointed. There was a national team tournament in Zimbabwe again the following year. So I went back to, and that's the first time I was called into the national team to play for the national team. I went to the national team, we started training, and they appointed me as the captain of the national team. So I was like, hey, I'm the captain of my club again, I'm the captain of the national team. So to me, that was a bit, I was like, hey, this is just more responsibility and more responsibility, you know? But I didn't say no. Who says no when they're appointed as a captain? I didn't say no. We went to Zimbabwe for Olympic qualifiers. I think that was the name of the tournament, Olympic qualifiers. But you see, with the national team, it's totally different. The way national teams play, because you know, with the national team, you play against national teams, not clubs. So that's totally different. Because I remember we were playing like South Africa, and you know how South Africa are very good in hockey. Totally different. But anyway, played for the national team until I was the national team captain from 2011 up to 2016. 2015, 2016. Yeah. So after that, this is like I'm fast forwarding. Like I said, I've been playing for Blazers since 2009. Life happened. I had to move here for a while. That means I had to take a break from playing for my club and the national team. Because I mean, the distance, this wasn't going to work out. So when I came here, I knew I was coming here for about 6 months. So I was like, hey, for me, I'll find a club. I'll look for a club. Yeah, and continue playing hockey. Because all my life, even before this happened, like just when I started playing hockey in high school, my goal was to play professional hockey, like professional hockey. However that was going to happen, I had no idea. But that was just how I wanted. Like I just wanted to play professional hockey. So when I came here, I looked for a club and I found a club, and I went trained for them, and I started playing.
They got you in.
Yeah, I got into the club.
Just hold on there. We're going to get back and just get back to that point where you played for the club. I want to take you back a bit in terms of being the captain for Blazers, Telkom. Then I don't know if Coach Jose has ever told you this, but why you? Because after you, now it's Tracy, and you are there you are captain for about 7 years. How was it being a captain, first of all?
How was it?
Yeah.
For me, it wasn't hard being a captain of that team, because when you're leading a group of people who know what they want and they have like the same goal, it's kind of easier. Because for us, we were being paid to play. So, I mean, you're being paid to play, you've got to perform, you've got to work hard. So for me, it wasn't really hard because we all knew what we wanted. Whenever we went for matches, whether it was a friendly match or tournaments or small tournaments or big tournaments, we wanted to win. That was our goal. We wanted to win. So, yeah, and it was really interesting because when I was the captain, we had senior players, and we had like, so senior players, I mean older players, older than me, and we had younger players than me. So, and I would always look up to the senior players for, advice or, I don't know, anything. So like I said, it wasn't really hard for me being the captain. And your other question was, why me?
You may or may not know, but Blazers has the history of having the youngest captains in the league.
You mean the youngest?
Well, I think he means compared to the teammates.
Oh.
Yeah, because as we were even talking off air, and we mentioned you, we've mentioned Tracy. and you look at most clubs, what they usually do, they usually pick either the most experienced player in terms of age, and or the player who's played longer for the club. But we've seen Telkom, Telkom, and now Blazers have a sort of different
approach
structure.
Let's go back. So before me was Doreen Hongo was the captain before me, and before Doreen it was Ataro, if I'm not wrong. So I don't know whether.
So you see from so Ataro was a senior player in the team.
Yeah.
And then now Doreen was a younger player in the team. So you see, are you seeing that trend? So from Doreen,
I know
a younger player now, yes.
I know what you mean. So I'm just trying to look back. I think, with Blazers, we had a group of like, so like Kina Ataro, Kina Achi, they were all like the same age, kind of. And then you had people like us who were like kind of the same age. So maybe it's like I don't know, maybe that's how it happened. Because when Ataro was the captain, and then Doreen was like my age, and then me. So I don't really think it's about Telkom choosing the youngest player. I think it's just how it happened. Because Achi, Ataro, those people, they stopped playing hockey, and they were all like the same age. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that answers your question. I don't know.
It's okay. We will still ask Jose once we have him here.
Okay.
Simon, you'd like to take over from there?
Keep the comments coming in. We have Ommala Ruth. She says Niko hapa. She says she's here. Joseph Ndego is watching. Thank you, Rhoda Kuira. And Juma Ann, you're watching. So let's talk about your move from your home country, Kenya, to High Wycombe, where you live right now. How is the experience? Let's talk about that shift first. It must have been a bit tricky, especially for considering there are different cultures, weather, the time. How is it for you, or how was it for you?
Yeah, like you said, it's different. The weather, the time, the culture is different. With the culture, I knew that was something, that was going to be inevitable. Culture shock was going to happen. For me, it's still happening. I'm still experiencing culture shock. There's so many different things happening here that I don't think they'll ever happen in Kenya. I don't know. It's just a matter of time. I don't know. But that's something I have prepared myself. Weather, no one likes cold. You're complaining. I know you're saying that it's cold in Gong. Must be lucky right now. It's a bit warm. It's not as cold, but this place can get really cold. We're talking about negatives. But that's something which I can't control. When it's cold, you just wear warm and you go about your business. I can't control the weather, so I've just learned to. I'm not used to it. I'm not used to the cold, but I've just learned to accept. It's something I cannot control. So I just, like I said, just wear warm and then you move. The day you see sun for a few minutes, you're like, oh my goodness, thank goodness the sun is out. So in terms of hockey, how I transitioned. So at Slough, you know what? Surprisingly, at Slough, there's so many people who have like roots from Kenya. So most people there are like like Indians. So most of them are either born. I'm talking about like the older people. Some of them were either born in Kenya, or they have a relative in Kenya, or they know someone who was born in Kenya. So for me, the transition wasn't hard because we had so much in common. The fact that you know someone who comes from Kenya. That's like if you want to chat with someone. That's like the starting point. That's how you start. It wasn't. And then even the team, the players are very, very friendly. The girls were like really friendly and very welcoming. So it was easier for me to just fit into the team. Yeah.
Okay. Do you still make ugali?
I do, of course. Ugali lazima.
And have guys there have your new our friends there tested it. How was it if they tested it? How did they react?
I haven't made it for people outside my home yet. But I've made chapatis for them and they love it. Yeah.
Okay. So do you still play the same position at Slough?
The same position as in which one?
Considering Telkom, you were playing a certain position at Slough. Did they still use you the same way Joss used to use you at Telkom?
No, they don't use me the same way Joss used me at Telkom, because I feel like at Telkom, if I was to compare, at Telkom, I feel like, and Joss knows this, as in he was my coach, he knows this. I feel like most of the responsibility was on me. You know, if Betsy's having a bad day, the whole team is having a bad day, kinda. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, if I feel like, yeah, I had to do so much, which was fine, as in, I feel like I stepped up to the plate, but it's different here because we've got so many, in the team, we have so many good players, as in, better. Some of them are better than me. So the responsibility isn't like solely on me. It's like, it's distributed, if I'm making any sense. But so at Telkom, I only played like one or maybe two positions. But in my club right now, I've played so many positions: midfield, defense. I'm yet to play in the forward line, but I don't think that's not my strength. I've played in the midfield, anywhere in the midfield, anywhere on defense I've played. So yeah, I'm used differently here compared to how I was used in Blazers.
And what's the difference between how you used to train with Telkom and how you train now with Slough?
The difference, let me see. The difference is, so you know here, what we do is whenever we play a league match, they film the match, and then when you go for training, you watch a clip or clips, and then the coach will be like, "This is how we played, and this is what you need to improve on, and this is what you did well." I see that's different from Telkom. We never filmed any matches there, so the training session there was different. You just turn up for training and just had a program. He'd be like, "Today we're doing ABCD," or we'll just chat about the match we played before. But here it's slightly different. You watch a video so that if coach tells you, "Oh, why did you do this and this?" you can't say, "No, I didn't do that, I did this." No, the video is there. They'll be like, "See the video, can you see what you did?" So it's a little bit different here. So every training session is different. The coach, we do things differently here depending on how we played previously, and so whether we need to improve on something or whether we need to do something more often. Yeah, so it's slightly different. Yeah.
And now speaking about now the difference in terms of the competitiveness of the league, there was a period of time where Telkom did not have as much competition in the league, and anyone who knew the women's game would easily say Telkom will just win the league, even if the league has not kicked off. What about Slough? Is it the same? Are there teams which remind you of Telkom, how you used to dominate, or how Telkom still dominate? They still dominate. Sorry. Is it the same at Slough?
It's completely different, Simon. I'll tell you that. Yeah, like you said, at Telkom, I keep saying Telkom, but it's Blazers. Yeah, like you said, we knew, like, and the thing is, it's not like we underrated teams, but we knew if we're going to play this team, we know this week we've trained so hard, and if you're playing this team, most likely we'll beat them. There was a most likely we'll beat them, because you know, to say automatically you're going to beat them, that's arrogance. We were like, we'll play so hard, and if we play so hard, we're going to beat them. Here is different, because you know here, I've played against teams which have Olympic players, as in people who played in the Olympics, who played in the World Cup. With other teams, they have players who played in the World Cup, in the Olympics. So you will not just wake up one day and say, "No, we're going to beat this team." No, you have to be realistic here. So you wake up when you're going for your league match, you basically train so hard and expect to perform better at least. So no, I've never woken up saying we're going to, or definitely we're going to beat a team. But you just go there, and if you do what the coach says, or if you just do as you've trained and what you just stick to your game plan, you'll get results. So yeah, it's different. It's very different because the hockey here is very different from the hockey in Kenya. Yeah.
And did the way you came up into the game at Slough, was it easier for you to blend in with the team due to your background in Kenya, playing for a structured club like Blazers?
Yeah, it was a little bit easier because, like I said, in Kenya I had played with for the national team, so we went out and played against good teams like Ghana, South Africa. So I would say my game, the way I play hockey, could match the hockey that's played here. You know, like if say I wasn't, I don't say I'm a good player. I'm not the best, but I think I'm a good player. And because I'm a good player, it was kind of easier to transition into the team because I understood basics. There were things which I understood, and I understand more hockey than some people. So yeah, it was a little bit easier because, like I said, I feel like my basics are on point. Like I'm not the best, but I'm saying like my basics are good. So yeah, compared to the level of hockey played here, yeah, it was a bit easier for me.
And let's talk about your signature move, or that signature strike. Who taught you how to do it? And I don't want to say what the move is or what the skill is. I want you to say it yourself.
Which one is it? I have so many, so I don't know which one you're talking about.
There is one that Jugush insisted that I ask.
Which one is that, Jugush?
He started by saying a drag, and then you corrected him by saying a slap shot. So,
the slap shot. Who taught me?
Yeah,
a few people taught me. There isn't one specific person who taught me the slap shot. So when I was training for Telkom, with Blazers, like I said, we would go out there, and I don't know, somehow this skill started when I was playing for Telkom. So we just started training at City Park. I was training there with people like Kina Zach, Kina Mose, Wa Police. They used to come there. And that time I remember we used to train during the day was it like 11 or 12? So we'd just find them there, and then we'll just train. Kina Mwangi, maybe they can't even remember, but I remember when I was training my slap shot, those are the people I used to train. Willie, the Nairobi Simba guy, Sikh Union. Hey, the names are changed. I need to use proper names. Sikh Union. Yeah, those are the people who taught me how to, or rather I trained with them. Yeah, they're the ones who taught me how to do that signature move you're talking about. And I would literally train that thing every single day. They say it takes how many hours to perfect a skill? 10,000 hours. So I feel like I've done 20,000. I'm just joking. But yeah, those are the two.
Any other skill that you have acquired?
I think if Jugush was a fan.
Yeah.
Any other skill that you have acquired over time?
Any other? Not really. There's one which when I go back on the field, I'll be working on.
Good. Let's talk about the national team. How is it for the 7+6 years that you are there?
How was it? How do I even begin with the national team? It has been a journey, and it's been a privilege for me playing for my country and representing my country in so many tournaments. Because I remember my first national team tournament was Zimbabwe, like I said, in the Olympic qualifiers. We didn't perform well, but it was an experience. For me, I was just like, oh my goodness, I played for my country. Not just played for my country, but I have captain my country. So yeah, it was a privilege. And over the years, I wish I could still play for my country. I wish I could. but it's the circumstances just won't allow. And yeah, for me, it's been a very good journey. I'm proud. I'm happy to have played for the country. My country has it's taken me places. I've gone to so many trips. So yeah, I don't know what else to say other than it's been a privilege. I've been proud representing my country, and yeah.
What advice do you have to your former teammates, Jackie Mwangi, Barbara Simiu, and Glenna Masake, who are now taking charge of the women's national team?
What advice? Oh, you want to advise the coach of the national team?
Yes.
Yes.
Advice. I think they know. There's a reason why those three were chosen to coach the national team. There's something in them that made whoever chose them. I'm sure it's the Kenya Hockey officials who chose them. So my advice is to don't put too much pressure on yourself. I'm sure they have a plan. Just go with the plan and don't put too much pressure on yourself. And like I said, I know they know what they want, and they'll sit down and write a plan and say, this is what you want to do and this is what you want to achieve. So yeah.
Okay. Let's take a comparison of and in no particular way of demeaning the kind of game we play, because I believe we play a very good game as per what we have and the situation that we have in this country. Yeah. But what are some of the lessons that you have learned at SLO that you feel in Kenya we can implement? For example, the system of play, how we play. Is it? I don't know if you've had an opportunity to see the national team train. Do they have a system that is played at the club level but ends up at the national team, or every club plays its own system and then it's when it comes to the national team, it's a different ballgame?
Here the national team operates very different from how it's done in Kenya. Because here, you know what they do? They have a centralized program, and so they have this is a random number I'm putting out. They have a certain number of players, like 30 players or 40 players. That's a random number who are called to this centralized program. So whenever there's a tournament, they take the players from this number of players who have been called in. And then say, for example, if they go for a tournament and then they come back, obviously not all of them will go. There's some who will not make it to the team. When they come back, and maybe the coach feels like they need to boost the team, some players will be dropped, others will be added. I think others from the same squad, but that one is different from Kenya. So they'll be in that centralized program for a certain number of years, like a good number of years, not just that for a year or 2 years. Maybe if you're unlucky, you can just be there for a year and so, but most of the time it's like they'll be together for a good number of years. So they train together for a long time, they play together for a long time, they go for tournaments, they play in the same tournaments for a long time. So that's why it's kind of easier to, when you have the same squad for, say, for example, 5 years, you have the same squad, it's kind of easier. But in Kenya, it's different. Sometimes people, you turn up you're called for the national team, you make it 1 year and then you're done because circumstances, again, maybe job, maybe, I don't know, you have to move to a different place. It's slightly different. So, and here, the way we play, like in the league, for instance, there's a common system of play. It's very common here. There are different systems of play, but there's one which is very common. And I've also seen it played in the national squad. But them, even in the clubs, for instance, even for us, say if you're going to play a game, what the coach does, we will watch the opponents play. As in, when I said they will record our match, and then there will be the opponents, even them, they record matches, and then you exchange the videos.
Footage.
The footage. They share the footage. So you can say if you're playing Team A tomorrow, we will watch how they play. As in, we'll watch on the video how to play, and we'll know how we are going to play in that game. So at least you're going there, you're aware that this is a dangerous player, maybe this is their strength, this is their weaknesses. So when you go there, you kind of go there with an expectation. You're like, if we do this and this this might work. If we do this, this will not work. So that one is slightly different. Like, in Kenya, we just know, I don't know, if team A is playing against team B, they're like, some players just turn up, they just go there to play hockey. Some, maybe they have like a free 2 hours to waste. They just turn up and go and play. It's a little bit different, but like I said, so here people are a little bit more, the level of hockey here is, if I was to compare in Kenya, it's very fast. Like, let nobody lie to you, it's very fast here. Very fast, it's very skillful, and it's very competitive. So yeah, it's slightly different. So for me, I just feel like in Kenya, for example, I remember Jugushu asked if I've watched the national team play. Was it last year they went to Zimbabwe? Or the year before? I happened to watch like one match. And to be honest, I was a bit disappointed as to how they were playing. I was trying to understand what the problem was. I was like, what's going on? I feel like, and to be honest, I felt like the level of hockey had gone down. So I was asking myself, is this how we also used to play when I was playing for the team? Because I didn't want to like criticize too much. I was just asking myself, I was like, is this the way we used to play even when I was in the team? But I just felt like the level of hockey had gone down. So I don't know who is to blame for that. I don't know whether, like I said, they were playing like, the team was just playing like that never trained together. That's how it came across. So I don't know. So I feel like maybe in Kenya, clubs should do a better job in terms of coaching players. Like, because these players who are playing for the national team, I'm sure they're playing for a club. And if you're turning up for national team training and you want to be taught how to hold a hockey stick, now, I mean, come on. That's when you should be taught in your club. As in, the coaches in the club, I feel like they should do a better job in terms of polishing players' basics and stuff, so that when they're called to the national team, the coach is not wasting time teaching a player how to hold a hockey stick. They're thinking about doing other things like set pieces and, those other things. So, yeah, I think that, and I feel like that will help. I don't know.
And as you've said, we've seen a lot of guys coming up and saying players need to learn the basics, the club needs to do this. But when you speak to the people at the club, they yet again start blaming coaches at high school. Then you go to coaches at high school, they start blaming someone else. So we are at a situation where everyone is pointing fingers at someone else. Where do you think we should start to solve these problems? Because as at now, we have people at the top are blaming people at the bottom. The people at the bottom are blaming the people at the top. So where should we start to solve these problems?
Yeah, that's the problem, is pointing fingers and saying you should have done this, you should have done this. I feel like if we start playing hockey, if schools start teaching these sports at a younger age, maybe it might make a difference. Because, say for example, like here, people start playing hockey when they're like 5 years old, like 4-year-old kids are playing hockey. So their talent is nurtured from a very young age. I'm sure even like in football here, that's what happens. We have so many academies, we have so many places which teach, kids are hockey from a very young age. So for me, if there's a school in Kenya and teaching a sport, like teach it the right way. Yeah, and for example, in Kenya, obviously it's unfortunate. So many schools don't teach they don't teach sports at a young age, because in Kenya, it's, you have to learn, you have to go to school, and read and read and read. We're forgetting that even sports is important. So like you said, I feel like if we start teaching these sports at a younger age, it might make a difference. Or if we can't teach it at a younger age, say if you start playing hockey when you're, 15, for instance, whoever is coaching you should do a good job in teaching you the basics. So that by the time you're getting to 20 or 21 at your peak, you've mastered your basics. National team, I don't think it's a place to go and... sorry if I sound a bit harsh, but I don't think the national team is a place to teach people basics like holding a hockey stick and pushing a hockey ball. That should be done in the club level or primary school or high school or whatever. But yeah.
you've said it. I think exactly the same way Zach Agura put it, where he said that the clubs need to focus on building the players' skills. At the same time, the players need to focus on their own skills.
Yeah.
Jugush, if you can remember correctly, on our first episode, we had Dennis Walker, the former Butali coach. And you remember the words he used. He said, we need to go back to the basics in the national team. And when he said that, he did not mean that we start teaching basic skills as a national team. No, I think he meant we need to look at the players and the basic skills they have, and probably we start from there. So now, I think as Njugu has asked, the next question I'll ask is, what do you think we should do with the facilities we have? But whatever you've said about the skills, what do you think we should do with the facilities we have to increase the knowledge of the sport at a young age, and to encourage parents as well as schools to start teaching not only hockey but all sports at a young age?
And even as you answer that question, Betsy, Jayala Simba asks, does England hockey dictate the style of hockey to be taught at the junior level? Probably you can marry those two questions and answer.
No, England hockey does not dictate how hockey is taught in a junior level, because we have coaches. Whoever is coaching these young players are qualified coaches. They've gone for hockey training qualifications. No, it doesn't. But you see, the thing is with hockey, the basics are the basics. If you're a good coach, you know what you need. If you're a good coach, you should know what to teach. Whether you're teaching a 5-year-old or you're teaching a 10-year-old the basics are the basics. So it doesn't matter what age you learn your basics. The basics are the basics. So no, they don't get it, because these coaches have qualifications, and it's what is it called? They have the proper qualifications to teach hockey here, so no, it doesn't. In terms of the facilities that you have in Kenya, what you can do with them. So I don't know. You have to use what you have. In Kenya, like I said, it's just unfortunate we only have one AstroTurf, one national. Like it's unfortunate, but see, if we can get more, if we can just get more facilities, it would be better. Because again, like it's hard for me not to compare. So if I was to compare, here there's an AstroTurf in each and every, at least one AstroTurf in every county. As in, there's no county that doesn't have an AstroTurf. So even these kids who are being taught at 5 years old or 6 years old, they're learning it on AstroTurf, not on grass, like obviously you do it in Kenya, for instance. So if we could just get more facilities, it would be very helpful. But you just have to use what you have. Like, what can you do in Kenya? You just have to use what you have. You can't complain and say, oh, I wish we had this, I wish we had this. If you do that, then you won't make any progress. You just have to use whatever you have to do what you need to do.
Okay.
Good. Simon, I can read a few comments.
Sorry, Betsy.
I'm saying I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah. The reason as to why I'm asking that is because and these are my personal feelings.
Okay.
Is that most of us at home usually complain that we don't have enough facilities, which is a valid point. But I was speaking to a lot of players who've played hockey in Kenya and gone to the Olympics, and they all said one thing, that before we get those facilities, we have to use whatever we have to grow our skill and see where we can go. As we know, there are a lot of issues, not only with the union, the government also has a lot of issues, but we have to get to a point where we admit and say, this is what we have.
Yeah.
Let's start working with what we have as we wait and fight for better facilities.
Exactly, and I agree.
Yeah, that's true. I'd like to read a few comments here and there. Orange Nell says, Muluya, Grace Akola says hockey is no joke. Carol Gushu says toughest captain ever. And she says that she misses you a lot.
I miss you too, Gushu.
Alison Jiro says, a go-to person when faced with a challenge when playing, very nurturing. You must have left a very big impact back here. I think I answered that one. Someone he's called John Parsons. He says that there are guidelines and training from Hockey England. Club coaches will be qualified via England Hockey, so yes. However, coaches have their own interpretations and styles, which is something that you have commented on that question. Chezadi Nyarangi says, what approach is England Hockey applying that is making the sport work for them? How much technology assisting in growing the sport? How much is technology assisting in growing the sport? Probably those two questions. And then probably a last one from Jala Simba says, I think this is where we go wrong, because here every high school coach have their own style. There's no one guideline to be followed by these coaches.
May I speak as a coach? Basically, I give a coach's perspective on this. Basically, to answer Jala Simba, and probably Betsy will give her own response to this. It's difficult to tell a coach that I want you to play this style, because every coach has a vision. Every coach has their own way of interpreting the game, and as Betsy has said, they do share ideas. Like they give you a footage to go and review. So it's difficult to say, fine, this is the way I want your team to play. But probably what he can look into is, as we've said, let's not look at the levels at which, let's say, England play, Australia play, Belgium play. Because we have our own doings, probably we look at now telling coaches, since you give the national team coaches players who don't know how to stop the ball, we'd like you to train players on the basic skills of the game. And then now, if you decide to play 4-3-3, if you decide to play 3-4-1-2, if you decide to play 0-7-3, it's upon you. But it's difficult to tell a coach that this is how we want the whole nation to play hockey.
I think what Asimba is alluding to is the basics. Are you giving the basic guidelines? And probably this is a challenge with the union. What are we doing to the coaches who are teaching the young people back in high schools? Because initially, I think it was Zach who said that they started playing from primary. Competitions of hockey started from primary. Are we able to go back there? If we are not, considering what Betsy has said, this is what we have. Because high school is our starting point in starting to play the game. Many years back, is it possible that those guidelines, basic guidelines, can be given to coaches? Are they able to be trained so that we are able to get people? Clubs are not able to concentrate going back to teaching people basics. Instead, they now get into the formation of the play, so that we leave the basics to high school, and then at club level, it's basically just teaching people what is required. And probably we need to bring in Mike Malungu here and Peter, who and a few other coaches who train high school hockey, so that we are able to get perspective of this. But let's get back to Betsy. So 2014, 2015 seem to have been a very big year for you, because you were, first of all, 2014, you became the personality of the year in the Magharibi Michezo Awards. This is an awards, for those who may not know, that recognizes talent from Western Kenya. So 2014, you're recognized as personality of the year, and it was a very competitive category, I must say. And then 2015, you won that, you retained that title again, and you became also the hockey player of the year in that same year. And 2016, the same 2015, you were also given a player of the tournament for the World Hockey League One. How was it for you being recognized? Let's start with Magharibi Awards. How was it for you?
How was it? It was really good. Yeah, that Magharibi Michezo Awards is a very good initiative they started. It just made me feel good and made me feel better in terms of, like, I knew I was playing so well. I'd definitely playing so well. And for someone to acknowledge and recognize that, for me, made me feel like I was doing the right thing. And then again, after that, I got MVP in the World Hockey League One. Yeah, I just felt like I was on the high at that time. I was like, it looks like I'm doing the right thing, and let me keep going. Let me keep, you just say the sky's the limit, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just keep going until I get to the end. So yeah, it was really nice. It was very good. It was a very good, good thing for them to do.
Good. As we bring this to a close, there are many young people who are watching, and there's even one who has texted asking us she wants to play for a club. Her name is, I think, Cynthia Musavi, if I'm not wrong. What would you tell a lady who would want to join a club? Because, to be quite honest, many people have said high school hockey and club hockey are totally different. Encourage that one lady out there this evening who is watching. What would you tell her?
So they're in high school and they want to play for a club in Kenya?
Yes.
Well, you have to work hard, like you said, and I agree. High school hockey is different from club hockey. Even me, if I was to look back and see how I used to play hockey in high school and the hockey I played for the club, it was very different. You just have to work hard because, like I said, it's different. So keep in mind, if you are to join a club, you'll be playing a different type of hockey. So keep that in mind. You just have to work hard because it's hard work. You just have to work hard, and you should be willing to learn. You have to be willing to learn. And you have to be disciplined as well. So that's inevitable. You have to have this discipline. Yeah. Someone asked a question about what
technology.
Yeah, like how hockey, I don't know, something to do with the technology and how that can help with the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just repeat the question. Probably read it again. He asks, what approach is England hockey applying that is making the sport work for them? The second question was, how much is technology assisting in the growth of the sport?
Okay, so in terms, I'll start with the technology part. How is it helping? So, when, say, you're going for trainings and how do I put this? Let me use an example for the team I play for. So when you're going for training and you have to do a certain fitness, say if there's a drill you have to do in terms of fitness, you've got to do it. With the national team, I'm sure what they do here is you're given there's a target I think you have to achieve. So they have, like, I don't know what those things are called, but you're given, it's like a hat. I don't know what they are called. Those things they wear, and then if you're running, it tells you how
your heart rate and
everything, all those things. So that thing can help you. And then even with the just recording a match, for instance, when you video a match and you watch it afterwards, even you as a player, you'll be like, hey, why did I give that pass? I should have given this pass, it was better. That's how you learn. Otherwise, if nobody is showing you what you're doing on the field, you really don't know. And if you have a bad coach, for instance, well, if you have a good coach to tell you this is what you're doing, this is what you're doing. But if you have a bad coach, you won't. I don't feel like you will improve your skill if nobody is telling you what you're doing wrong, if I'm making any sense. So it's completely different. And I think it's a little bit unfair to compare Kenya to England. We are on a totally different level. We'd rather compare Kenya to, for example, I don't know, maybe South Africa, but comparing Kenya to England, we are on a totally different level. Because here players have Olympics, they played in the World Cup, like you said, they've played so many international tournaments. It would be a little bit unfair to compare Kenya to here. But yeah, like I said, just if you can use whatever technology you have to improve a player or to improve a team, then use it.
Yeah, I think it's that basically answers the whole question. I was speaking to one of the coaches who works with the Nairobi Academy. I think he was from Netherlands, if I'm not wrong. And he was telling me that one thing he likes about us Kenyans is that we improvise. We don't have enough facilities, but we like to improvise. Yeah. So basically, we can do the same. Like he was saying, we can even use a phone to take clips of, let's say, a penalty corner being taken with a for against. You can use the same phone to take a certain plays of the game, and probably share it on a WhatsApp group and help other guys do it. As you've said, and it's right, and I think everyone agrees. We are miles behind England, and it will take us probably a few years or more years to catch up to them. But yet again, what can we do with what we have? Let's improvise. Let's come up with creative ideas on how we can improve the game. Because one thing that yes.
Yeah, I agree. Rather than just saying, "Oh, I wish we had this. I wish we had that." No, use what you have.
Yeah. Because one thing that even Jugush, I know he knows this about me, is what frustrates me the most is we have all these guys at home here in Kenya who like pointing fingers as we mentioned, and they do nothing about improving the sport. You have the skill, you know the game. Why don't you take 5 or 6 hockey sticks? Teach a few kids how to play in your estate. It's how we'll improve the game. You have a camera at home. Why don't you donate it to a club to use it to record? You can even decide yourself to record and give the matches. So I think, as you've said, and I love what you've said, is let's use what we have. Let's continue improvising, and let's, as much as we compare ourselves with countries like England and want to get where they are, what can we do with what we have as we get to that particular stage? Because we can't just jump in 1 or 2 years' time.
Yeah,
that's true. Our time is up. 1 hour has already gone by. Betsy, your final words.
Oh, final words.
Yeah.
I don't know. Final words.
Anything.
Anything. Yeah, for me, I miss
Tuma salamu.
Tuma salamu.
Why ni Muluya? Tuma salamu.
Tuma salamu kwa Kilwe. Final words. I don't know. I just, like I said, I just miss Kenya. For me, I miss playing for Blazers. And I don't know. The next time I come, God willing, next time I come there, I can't wait to play with them again. I miss my team so much. Other than that, I don't know what else to say in terms of final words. That was me when you off guard.
Okay.
A parting shot.
It is okay. Thank you so much for coming and joining and to agree to just come and share your wisdom with us this evening. Simon, any last shots?
Yes. Once again, Jugush, I think we've had this discussion. We've mentioned it, but I'd like to challenge everyone at home. Here we are. Let's use what we have. Betsy has told us what the comparison between the two. We've also had players, other players in Europe, talk to us and tell us this is what we need to do. And I think, in Jugush, it's time for us to stop pointing fingers and say, and I keep saying this, and ask, what can we do? What can I do? We keep saying it starts with me, but rarely does it start. Let's stop pointing fingers. And I urge the likes of Betsy, the likes of Griffin, who's in Italy, and any other player who's out there. There are so many players out there who follow the Kenyan game. Support us with whatever you can. Support us. Share your knowledge with us. We'd like to know where we are going wrong, because from there, Betsy, as you've seen, you've given us a different perspective of the game that most of us we don't see. So keep sharing with us on social media. I'm sure people follow you, and that's in Jugush. I think for me, this is from the bottom of my heart. Let's stop pointing fingers. let's start now actioning. If you can teach 5 kids at home how to play hockey, teach them. If you can support a local club by buying them even water during match day, do it. This is what we have. This is where we are. I'm sure people are pushing for better facilities, better things, but we can't fight against each other. And we keep saying we are a small community. Let's keep growing. Let's support each other. Otherwise, enjoy your weekend, guys.
You too. Thanks for having me.
Karibu sana. Remember, you can follow Hockey Kenya on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. That is at Hockey Kenya, and at HockeyKE also. That is on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Next week, we take this conversation up. We're going to talk to stakeholders on how we can basically improve this game. What are the challenges? What have people learned from? And are we able to get to where we need to get to? You know, I'm reminded when Betsy was talking about a story in the Bible of Moses when he went and faced the burning bush. God asked him, "What do you have in his hands?" And he simply had a rod. And with that, he did wonders. He split the river Jordan. It was the Red Sea rather, and it was divided into half, and the children of Israel managed to cross. So I believe for us as a country, like Simon has said, use your phone, get to know the analysis of the game. And I'm seeing several other hockey websites like Hockey Bits are now doing videos, and it's a good place to partner with such kind of people and just get much videos from them and be able to go back and reviews. So I think it's a challenge to coaches. Thank you so much, Betsy, for that. To me, that is my takeaway for today. So with that, we go to end the show. See you on Wednesday. We are back, and we take this conversation further. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Bye.